Hello there, running-ears. It's Manny again, and we're like 2 days away from Thanksgiving, so I wanted to make this video before that so you can enjoy the holiday with your friends, your family, the way that you want to. Maybe even go for a jog. That's what I'm going to do, but I just wanted to get this information out before that. But I wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit those notification bells because I do have a major announcement at the very end of this video. It's going to be my first major giveaway, and it is going to involve a charity, but I think it's going to be a really, really cool thing. If you haven't seen the thumbnail, that's a hint. So that's a hint of what's upcoming. So I'm going to do that at the very end, but let's go on because we do have some news. So first off, we have some breaking news when it came to Monsters Land in Hollywood Studios. And I always said that this stuff doesn't hit us directly, but it does indirectly, and I'll go over it shortly. But what's going to happen is the speculation is over. It looks like they will put Monsters Land where Muppets Courtyard was, which didn't make me too happy because I love Muppets Courtyard. Even before Galaxy's Edge was made, I used to go to the back and I used to sit there. There was nobody back there at Pizza Rizzo. It was really, really cool. I used to sit there and just watch people come, go. It was really, really, really cool. I love using the restrooms back there because back then there wasn't anybody there either. So that was that. But don't worry, the Muppets are, if you have not heard, they're going to be taking over Rock and Roller Coaster. This has been going on for a while. Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith. The contract was up. They've been talking about negotiating and so forth and so on. So, and Aerosmith actually stopped touring this year. They just, Steven Tyler got sick, so that was it. So the writing was on the wall that this was going to happen. But it's going to be really, really cool because it's going to be the Muppets, Dr. Teeth, and the Electric Mayhem is going to take over Rock and Roller Coaster. But Manny, what does it mean for runDisney? And the answer is nothing directly as usual. But I did find some footage of where we run and what it could mean. So let's take a look at it and analyze that. So as we can see, and this was for 2023, we're running behind Hollywood Studios. And so we're entering the backside. And this is where part of this is the Lightning McQueen racers that show that they had. We're walking back over here. We're running back over here. This is going to be gone. So they're going to start. They've already actually closed this down. They're going to make this into a villain show. So you can start seeing that there's a possibility when we're back here. I decided to go and check out all the cars. I remember running with Princess Ashley, and we went to go check out all the cars that are back there. So this is going to be gone. So this might be a place where they close it down. And as we continue going, because we're going to go through where Rock and Roller Coaster is once we pass this gate, and we were actually walking so we can take our time. But all this is going to be, they're going to be building, so they can do one of two things. They can put walls here, but it's not going to look good. It's going to be like Walcott. So that's going to be one thing that they might consider. Now, they don't use this part a lot during the runs. They started using it, and they really don't use it a lot. But of course, this is all be gone. So if you haven't seen it already, go over there and check it out. So yep, there it is. We're checking out the guitar, the Aerosmith guitar. But check this out. You see those lights on the top? That is the roller coaster. That's the line that reaches out to the front of this. So this is what makes me think that they're going to close this whole place down sometime down the line, because if you notice, that line goes all the way to the front. And I have a feeling that they're going to close this all down. Obviously, you're going to see the roller coaster there. So it might be replaced with a buggy and stuff, but it's not going. They're going to have to close this down. So again, it might affect us. We're just going to have to run a different route. On the other side, we can actually see as we're running by Star Tours. This is where we still might be able to run, because if you look over here to the left, we're running up to Muppets Court and Muppets Courtyard, I should say. And you could actually see it right here to the left. So it'll be an eyesore. They might build some walls, but Monstropolis is going to be back there, and they just opened this up. So not sure what they're going to do there. But this is where again, they're just going to put up some walls. I love this place, but it is going to be torn down. So you can see that we might have eyesores. It may actually help. The other thing that it may do is somewhere down the line, if the Muppets now have a more popular, and they've been popular, but if they get to that next level popular, just like we had the Swedish Chef for the last Wine and Dine. We may have more characters. I love Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. I think Animal would be great, and I actually said it before, Animal on a medal would be great. I think that would be something that we might see in the future. But again, a whole race, like a whole Wine and Dine that is themed, or a couple of the races themed to the Muppets would be, I would love it. So the next bit of news is Run Disney related, and they have released, just like I thought they would really soon, the Coast to Coast medals have been released. Let's take a look at them. So this is going to be the same medal twice, but this one's in front of Cinderella's castle at Disney World, and this one's in front of Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland. So I don't know about you guys, but I really like them. I like the fact that they show the coast, each coast, the castles. So you see the coast, and in between is the Walt and Mickey partner statue. It's just in the middle. I think that is really cool. That's kind of going from one coast to the other coast. In the future, they might just keep it like this, especially if people like it. So far, it seems like a lot of people really like this. So they might just do what they did in the past with the lanyard. So it would be 2025, and then the next year would be 2026, which brings me to a couple of other points. So number one, it looks like from last year, we had 2 tracks. I think that was confusing a lot of people. It actually confused me also because I wasn't sure when we were going to get them. I kind of had to read it over and over, and sometimes it was just kind of confusing. But now it's really set in stone. In 1 calendar year, you have to do a run that's 10 miles or longer in each coast. So anywhere you can do the Walt Disney World Marathon, half marathon, or any of the challenges that'll be there. So for the Princess, it's going to be the half marathon or the challenge. For Springtime Surprise, the 10 miler or the challenge. For the Wine and Dine, it's going to be the half marathon or the challenge. And then again, the same thing from Disneyland. So now we go to Disneyland, and it's going to have to be the Disneyland half marathon or the challenge, the Dumbo Double Dare, I should say, and then the other one is going to be the Halloween, because we're going to talk about registration. That's coming up pretty soon. So if you do the challenge, also the half marathon or the challenge, then you will get the Coast to Coast medal. You're eligible. You're only going to get one. You get that at the end of the second race. So once you finish, you will be given a little band, and it's going to tell you it's eligible. You're going to be able to get that. You're going to cross. You're going to go over, and you're going to get your second, third, fourth, whatever medal it is for that weekend. You're going to get that. So that's the way it's going to work. So now we got registration coming up for the Halloween run. So Club Run Disney is registering starting today. Now, if you are new to Club Run Disney, a lot of people are going to be going like, I have gold or platinum. Why can't I register? Because they changed it up. So now your membership will now start January 1st. So as of now, from what I understand, and I've been checking my email just to make sure, but in the letter of the law, what it says there on the contract that you signed when you paid for, you agreed to, it is January 1st. So that means starting January 1st is when you start getting the benefits of signing up early. So the next one is going to be Wine and Dine. You can sign up early. So now us mere mortals in 1 week will be signing up. So December 3rd at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure that you understand that is 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're on a different coast, you're in a different time zone, you don't get up and you get there at 10 a.m. and all of a sudden go like, man, it's sold out, because it's 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm in Central, so that would be 9. So make sure that you get that information, and we're going to go over what you can start doing now, what you can do the morning of, what you can do right when you're registering, and we're going to go over all the questions that have been there for a while. There's going to be maybe some changes here and there, but if you'll know how to do that. If you're doing multiple people, you'll know how to do that also. And when you know that you're registered. So we're going to go over all that. So take out your pen and paper. We're going to write down a couple of notes, and let's get started. So the first thing is, what can you start doing now? We're a week away. So what can you start doing now? Something is very simple. If you don't already have it, make sure that you set up your Run Disney account. So you're going to go to Run Disney on the top right hand corner. It's going to say Manage Account. When you go in there, you're going to create an account. It's very easy. If you already have existing accounts with My Disney Experience, Disney World, Disneyland, D23, Disney Plus, any of these, DVC, any of these, you're going to use the same login information. So it's going to carry on. So make sure that you get that, because if not, you're going to change it for all the other ones too. So, but make sure you get in there, make sure you know how to log in, make sure that you see your name, your information, your mailing address in case they need to mail you anything, your email is correct, so forth and so on. But again, it's just going to be your registration. So, or for your registration. So make sure, and that's something that you not only can you do now, it's something you should do right now. The next thing you need to do is find out what kind of races you want to do. So if you're interested in the 5K, make sure that you understand what the 5K is about and start reading all the information about the 5K. For example, if you have a 4-year-old child, they cannot run it unless their birthday is at a certain cutoff, because they have to be 5 or older. So you got to start looking at the rules, what you're going to do, so that way you don't register and then all of a sudden say, well, I didn't know that. Start looking at that now. The other thing you got to start doing is getting the information. So in a little bit, I'm going to go over the questions once you're registering. Write those down, be ready for them, practice them a little bit so you can have them now. So that way when you register, it's going to go in a little bit easier. And if you're registering somebody else, make sure that you get these questions answered. Also, there's going to be some things that are going to be a little bit more specific, some things that you can change later on. Again, we're going to go over that in a little bit, but make sure that you get that information now. The other thing that you could start doing now is testing your Wi-Fi and your data. You can start doing this days before. Start looking to see, check to see if the data is working, where you have the best data reception, where you have the best Wi-Fi reception, and test it day to day. And of course, the morning of, that's another thing that you can test, but that's something else you can start doing now. And then the last thing, or one of the last things you could start doing now, is payment. Start looking at payment, and I'm going to say this now, I'll say it again a little bit later because I think it's worth repeating, is I know that a lot of people have had problems with payments in the past, because I don't know if it's because of browser, because of the payment itself, so forth and so on. But always have, to me, in my opinion, you should have 2 forms of payment ready. Maybe a gift card and a debit card, or a credit card and a different credit card. Whatever, it's up to you. It's not up to me. Whatever it is. What I tend to do is write it in big numbers. A lot of people will do this. They actually copy it. They put it in a file folder that they have there, so they can copy and paste, put it in real quickly. Whatever works for you, start doing it now so you have that. But I always say at least 2 forms of payment. If you can do more, that's up to you, because and I'm going to repeat this story. Somebody actually posted this and it broke my heart. They had gotten into the registration, and I actually have one more thing to talk about. So we were talking about prioritizing races. I'll go that. But this person wanted to register for one race. It sold out. They had put money in a debit card, so they were ready. So when they went over to register for their second option, that debit card had a hold on that, so there was no money in there, so it was they couldn't register. So this is the last thing I'm going to say about what you can start doing now. Prioritize the runs that you're going to do, and prioritize the people that you're going to be running with. And this is going to go into registration, so this is probably the longest part. Prioritize. So let's say you want to do the 5K, but you know that if this 5K is done, you can settle for a 10K. You can run a 10K, or you feel comfortable training for a 10K. Let's say you want to do the challenge, but the challenge is sold out, and you end up saying, but I'll just do the half marathon because I want to get the coast to coast. So prioritize, and I would write a couple of them down, at least 2, maybe 3, so that way if your first choice is sold out, you can go to the second choice or even the third choice. The same thing, prioritize if you need to have that person run with you, because once you get to registration, you're going to see this, okay? So you can register multiple people, or you can register yourself, pay, go back in, and then register somebody else. This is the difference, in my opinion. So if you are registering somebody that has to come with you, your spouse, your children, parents, somebody that you have to run with, it's a no. There's no discussion. We are going to run together. We both need to get into the 10K. What I would do is, and we're going to go over it in a little bit, you're going to see a page and it's going to say add another runner. You are going to click there and you're going to add another runner. You're going to be prepared with their information, put it in. Then you're going to be prepared with the payment, so you can go in there, pay, and that's it. So that is priority number 1. So that's a higher priority. You are going to be running with with that person, and you have to. Now, the priority number 2, or the second scenario, is going to be, let's say it's a coworker, and you say, man, she says, yeah, I want to run, and oh yeah, me too, whatever and stuff, and goes, hey, can you help me register? Yeah, that's cool and stuff, but it's not the biggest priority that she has to run with you. So what I would do to ensure that you get in there, pay and everything. Click on purchase. Once you get your purchase notification, we'll go over that in a little bit also. You're going to go back. You can enter back in. Gives you about 15 minutes to go back in and then register the second person. So that means you're in, and then you're taking the chance on getting that second person in. And there will be a bar on the top that'll say, register myself or register another person. And it's just going to click down. You're going to pick whatever you're going to do, so you can do that, and you can register multiple people. You can register as many people as you want to, as long as the races are not sold out. So let's move on. So now we get to the morning of. So this is going to be December 3rd. I always say, let's say it's 10 o'clock that it's registration. You're on the East Coast. At about 9, I would go in there and I would log in, just to make sure that you logged in. Once you get to that page, that's going to be your account page. You're going to have to go back in, but if you ever notice, when you go to manage account, click in there, it's going to automatically get you that page. Probably going to log you off, but you actually start remembering. It starts remembering, so you start practicing on it. My suggestion is at least 15 minutes before, if you can do 30. So about 9:30, start refreshing. Start refreshing it. The page. The page is going to go crazy for a while. It'll all of a sudden, it might even say that things are open. You're going to click on it, nothing happens. It might just spin. It might come up with nothing, blank. It might just disappear. Then it might reappear. The things like that happen. That's common. I see a lot of people panicking. That's common. Just continue refreshing it. If for some reason other refreshes doesn't want to come back, just open up another browser, and do that. That reminds me, you can get multiple devices. So I would get at least 2 devices, and of those multiple devices, different browsers. So if you're going to use Safari on one, use Bing on another one, whatever it is, Fox, whatever it is that you feel comfortable. If you've registered in the past and you've noticed that one is better than the other, one is more efficient than the other, make sure you have that one there, and have one on Wi-Fi and have another one on data. That's why we were checking the Wi-Fi and data. So we're going to have those multiple devices, maybe even have multiple people with multiple devices in that room. So we're going to be looking at that. And now we're going to go back to refreshing. So we're going to go back to refreshing. And one of these times, it may be 30 minutes before, maybe 15 minutes before, it may be 5 minutes after, but it's going to refresh and it's going to have a clickable button. So now let's say there is 5 clickable buttons, but there's only one that's clickable. The other ones still say opening soon. Click on whichever button that is open and see if you can get into the spinning queue. That spinning queue is going to look like what it sounds like. It's going to be a spinning queue, and it's going to have, now I believe it has a little man that's walking on the bottom, and it's going to be timed. And this is where a lot of people get scared and log off right away, because it almost always starts with over 1 hour. So if you see that, don't get discouraged. It's going to change, and it can change pretty quickly. So once you see the over 1 hour, it may stay there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe up to 15 minutes. Then all of a sudden the time will start moving for some, not everybody. Some of them will continue staying there for a while. But this is the ones that it's going to change to. I have seen people after 10 or 15 minutes give up, and you just don't know what it's going to change. Because I've been there before, where all of a sudden it changes to 5 minutes. And all of a sudden you're there, and all of a sudden you're registering so really, really quickly. So don't get discouraged. Just be patient. And I'm going to say this over and over and over. Be patient. All right, so start looking. You're going to start looking at the devices. So if you have 2 devices, start looking to see where they're at. All right, so if one of them is now 30 minutes, the other one is 50 minutes. So start looking, because again, they can come down. I have had it before too. The 50-minute one comes down to 10 minutes. The 31 goes back up to 35 minutes. And that's the other thing. It can go up and down. So just be patient. Now, once you get in, it is going to say it's now your turn, and you're going to hear a ding, 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 and you're going to be able to get in. So when you get in, this is when you have to be very efficient. And that's the word I like to say, is because a lot of people start panicking there. If you miss one thing, it's gonna kick you back out, and you're gonna have to look at for that one thing that you missed. Sometimes it'll say it, sometimes it doesn't. My take, and I'll go over them a little bit, but it usually is a shirt size. It's just usually in the first page, it's kind of on the side, and I've missed that quite a few times. So if you miss the shirt size, it's not going to let you register. And I have done it before with, I'm clicking, and I'm looking, and finally after about a couple of minutes I go, oh, it's right there. Then I click it, and then all of a sudden I'm registered. Or I'm in the process of registering, or I go to the next phase. But, so with that said, we're going to go over what you are going to need. So once you're in your account, because it's going to have you log in, it's obviously going to populate your name. But make sure that you have the name, your name, and the name of anybody else that you want to register. Next thing is make sure that you have your email. You can put your email or their email. Either way, you're going to be able to forward it later to their email. So just be patient. And again, worst case scenario, if it's still under your email, you can just print out their stuff, sign their waiver, everything that everything that you're going to have to do later, you're going to be able to do, and they're going to be able to run. Another thing you're going to have is their date of birth, or your date of birth and their date of birth. So make sure you have the date of birth for yourself, and you should know your date of birth, but you should have it for everybody that you are registering. The next thing you need to have is their gender. So make sure that you have that, make sure that you're ready to go. And again, that's self-explanatory. And here goes my favorite, the one I missed, shirt size. And they sometimes have men, women, they break it down, and sometimes they have women and then unisex or adult sizes. So it'll just say women, and then on the other side it'll say adult sizes. So just make sure that you get the sizes of shirts for everybody who is going to be running. So the next thing, but it's going to be populated for you, but it's not going to be populated for anybody else, especially if you've already, again, set up your account, is your address. So make sure that you have the address. What I have done is a lot of times, if I don't have their address, I put my own, because I can go in there and edit it later. The next thing is going to be the phone number. So make sure you get the phone number of everybody that is going to be, anybody that you're going to be registering for, because again, yours is probably going to be populated when you log in. Okay, the next one's going to be a little bit, one of these, it's going to have a little bit of a couple parts and stuff. It's the emergency contact. And so you're going to be able to put the name in there. You're going to have a click down bar where it's going to say relation. So is it your spouse? Is it your child? Is it your parent, friend, family, whatever it is? And you're going to have emergency contact. So make sure that you have your emergency contact phone number. What I have done in the past also, if I forgot that, which now you don't have any excuse now, just put down yours. You can always change it later. And finally, for the first page, or at least for the first page, is going to be the in-race acknowledgement. So that means it's kind of like the waiver that you're signing. You're just basically saying this is the correct information that you're putting in. So the next things are going to have like yes, no, they're going to be real quick. Some of them are going to have drop-down bars. So just make notes of these so that way you know. But a lot of these, again, you can go and then change them later. So one thing it might ask you, or it has been asking, is are you military, yes or no? And if you do put yes, it'll do a drop-down bar, and it will ask you what branch of the military. Another one is going to be, are you a runner with a disability? I like to call them athletes with magical abilities. And if you put yes, it will have a drop-down bar also asking if you need assistance, that kind of stuff. So just be aware that if you put yes, you're going to have to answer a few more questions. Next one is one that I guess I don't understand, but I guess it's for their statistics. But it's going to ask you, are you an annual pass holder? Are you a magic key holder? Are you a cast member? Are you a DVC member? It's going to ask you for this kind of stuff. After that, it doesn't really ask you for anything else. Yeah, it's also going to ask you if you plan to stay on property and how many people are going to be in your party. Next questions that they've asked is this your first run? And if not, which ones have you done before? And you can click multiple ones also. So another one that they will ask you is proof of time. Are you going to submit it? Now this is one that I usually recommend that you do not put anything. You're just going to put the slowest time, because especially if you're trying to register and the time is going to be going pretty quickly. So what I usually tell people is skip this one, put the slowest time, because you're going to have up to a certain date to change it. So and if you're going to put in proof of time and you're going to do like 2.5 hours or less, and I believe it's 4.5, 5 hours for the marathon or less, you're gonna have to put in a link. So a lot of people have done this. They are ready to, like we talked about the payment information, they're ready to copy it and paste it. So if you have that you can do that. My suggestion is to leave it till later, because after you register and you're in, you're going to be able to go in there and edit your registration, and then you're going to be able to put it in there, so you can adjust that. You usually will get an email and saying reminder in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, you have to get your proof of time in. And if not, just look at social media. People are going to remind you. I usually, whenever I get it, I put it on there on the Run in Ears page. So make sure that you understand that you don't have to put it down there. But again, especially if you're closer to the hour of registering and it seems to still be open, those few seconds can be precious. Okay, so after that, it's going to give you an anticipated finish time with the proof of time. Again, I usually will put slower runs, times, and then I can go in and adjust them, because if you you put in a faster time, it's going to ask you for a proof of time. And again, if you don't have the proof of time, and remember this is going to be really, really important. It usually is a USA track and field race, so it has to be put on by USA TF. If it's not put on, if it's not a member of that, then you can't just go and run on your own. You can't just have a neighborhood run a 10K, a half marathon, and say, oh, I did it in an hour and a half, and here's my Garmin and stuff. They're not going to take that. So it has to have a link to an official race. Now, it is going to also ask you about pre-sale for the merchandise. They will leak, especially now that this week the Club runDisney, they'll send me stuff, so I'll be able to see all the bundles and everything. They're usually not the best pictures. My suggestion is always, because now you cannot return these things, so my suggestion is always wait until the expo. But if you really need to buy something, I always suggest this: register first, go back in and purchase it. When you log into your account, you're gonna go there, and on the top bar, there's gonna be a tab. It's gonna be the third one. It's gonna say buy products, and you can buy it. So once you get into this race, it's gonna allow you to pick your race. You're gonna see whatever is there, and you can buy it. But again, now you can take your time, sit there going like, do I want the pin bundle? Do I want the shirt bundle? Do I want the corksicle? Do I want the lounge fly? What do I want? And you can actually see the prices. Now there's another thing that's going to happen. So if you don't know already, if you're a Magic Key holder, because it is a Disneyland run, if you're a Magic Key holder, they will not give you the discount. They will give you the discount at the expo, but they will not give you the discount if you pre-purchase it. And you can no longer return it and then buy it again with the discount. They no longer allow you to do that. So the next thing it's going to ask you something about donations for the charities that they're sponsoring. Again, I usually skip right through it, because again, you can go back in there, and if you want to do that, you can do that later. Or there's going to be a list of charities, and of course you can donate to any of them that you want to. So once you do this, you're going to acknowledge everything, or there's going to be a button on the bottom that's going to say register somebody else. If you want to register somebody else, you got your child that you want to run with. They're 9, they want to do the 10K, or is that right? I think it is. No, they're 10 and they want to do the 10K. They're of age, they can do it. So now you're going to click on that, and you're going to go back over again. And remember these questions, because you're going to answer that for them also. And then once you're ready, it's going to continue. Once you go there, I believe that's when it's actually going to ask you for the donations and the purchase of the shirts and whatever it is, the bundles. So you're going to continue clicking through. Now we come to payment. This is where I said get at least 2 forms of payment, and I usually use a gift card, and I have the gift card amount already ready. It's already clicked in there, and then I have my backup, which is a credit card. Again, I write my numbers real big, so I go in there, I click in there, I make sure that I got everything ready. It actually, with the gift card, it actually gives me my balance, and it says, do you want to use it? And I'll say yes, and then I click purchase. Now, here is the clicker. If you click on purchase, wait until it says thank you for registering. If it doesn't say thank you for registering, you may not be registered, okay? So once you get that thank you for registering, click on get a screenshot. I'm doing this because I have the tablet, so click on the screenshot, the phone, whatever it is. You can get your phone if you're on the computer, take a picture of it so you got all the numbers and everything like that. So make sure that you go to your email to check to see if you got the email. If you did not get the email, you at least got this, and you have it there. It says thank you for registering. It does not tell you, you're on wait, you're on hold, anything like that. It says thank you for registering. So now you got that. So just in case it doesn't show up in your account for whatever reason, now you can actually email Disney. You can say, I have the number, here it is, I took a screenshot and stuff. Even if you don't get it, they don't answer you, you can go to the expo and you can show it to them and you will get in. They will find a way to get you in. So make sure that you get a screenshot for everything that you pay for. So now, if you register yourself, and now you have that friend at work that you're gonna go register for, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna either open up another browser or just go back, and you're gonna go back to the original page and you're gonna register somebody else. And again, the same process that we just went through, you're gonna do it again. Once you get it, make sure that it says thank you for registering. Take the screenshot, send it to them, let them know that they're in. Afterward, you can work with Disney, and it usually will give you on your registration, transfer it to somebody else. You're gonna click on that, you're gonna give them your email. That's why you need to make sure that the information is correctly, because it happened once where I put in something wrong. That was my fault. I put one letter that was wrong, it was off, but Disney corrected it and everything ended up working out fine. So what happens if you register, or you thought you registered, you almost got to the end, you didn't get it, you didn't get in, and all of a sudden you check your account and there's a hold for $450 for the challenge. That's a hold. It'll drop after a couple of days. A lot of people will complain and say, oh, they charged me. They did not charge you. That's why I've always said, have two forms of payment. Because let's say on a debit card you have $500, so it's gonna hold those $450. So now let's say you go back in and try to register for the half marathon. It's not gonna let you. It's gonna say insufficient funds. You're not gonna have enough funds, so it's not gonna let you. So that's when you take your second form of payment. Again, so just make sure that you get all of that and make sure that you understand what you're getting into. I did my last video on just understanding the runDisney.com page. Start looking at that now so you know what you're getting into. I have actually even heard somebody say they didn't have the dates. The dates are all over the place. So, make sure that you understand the dates, make sure you can make it. The other problem is it's way in advance. So we're talking about, what is it? So it's next September. So we got about 9 months, 10 months, something like that. So we got a long way to go. So a lot of things can happen in there, but understand that there is no refunds. You cannot transfer. Please do not even try to transfer. If you try to transfer, you can and will be banned. Whoever transfers and whoever gets a transfer, or whoever tries to buy the bib. So that's going to happen. So again, there's a difference between transferring when you register somebody and they're on your account. All you're doing is transferring it to their account. You're not transferring the bib to them. They already have their bib. You're transferring their registration to their account. And I hope that makes that's clear. And so the only differences are going to be charities. So you people will post on this at charities. I was able to transfer my registration. Yes, and it's actually before a certain date. So if somebody is running a charity, they have already paid for it, they've done some fundraising, they get hurt, they can't make it, before a certain date, yes, they can. Once you get your registration link and you have registered yourself, then that's when it becomes a lot harder. So if you haven't gotten that link, reach out to your charity and say, I got hurt, can we transfer this over to somebody else? And really it's up to the charity. Usually they say okay, they'll transfer it over because again, they want somebody to raise the funds and so to get that bib. So make sure that you do that. So if you read, I was able to transfer this because I was with a charity, a lot of people just they don't acknowledge the charity part. It goes, well, they transferred it, how come I can't? And it's because it was in a charity. It's a little bit different. And again, they haven't registered yet. They've actually just bought the bib. Then they haven't gotten the link to register yet. So the last thing I'm going to say is, guys, be patient. Please, please, please be patient. I hope to God everybody who wants to get in gets in. Their fund races last year, which was actually not last year, it was a couple months ago. So in 2024, it was pretty hot. I'm not sure. A lot of people are asking, is it going to be the same thing? I don't know. Disneyland is usually cool in the evenings and in the mornings, but there is a few weeks, maybe a month, where it's not as it's a lot harder, and it just seems like this was when we hit. And but a week before and a week after, it was cool. So I don't know. It's one of those. I don't know what's going to happen. So once we get closer, we are able to see that. And again, you're going to be training in the summer. So just adjust accordingly. to what looks like it's going to be, the temperature is going to be closer to that date. So do you have any questions about registration? Even though I make these videos and they're long, and I've been doing these for years now, they're long, I always still, there's people that ask questions, I go like, I didn't think about that one. And so there's always something that's an individual question. So please ask it down below if I did not cover it. Please reach out to me on social media if I didn't cover it. A lot of people do that, and I'm fine with that. Just let me know how I can help, see if I can answer those questions. And thank you very much. Now let's get to the exciting news. So the exciting news is I am actually doing the Dopey under a charity. They have actually invited me to a dinner. It is going to be on January 10th at the Coronado Springs from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I've done them a couple of times in the past. So if you looked at the thumbnail, actually that was me just this past January. So there will be photo ops with Mickey and Minnie in their jogging outfits usually. So I think that's really, really cool. So now where does it come to you guys? So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to raffle because I have mine, but I'm going to raffle off my second person. So if you want to come with me from 6 to 8 p.m., it's going to be at the Coronado Springs. It's going to be with the charity. It's the Duchenne's Muscular Dystrophy, Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy .org. That's the website. We're going to be going there, and we are going to have dinner. It's not a lot of dinner, but it is filling. So you're going to be able to get some dinner there. You're going to be able to meet some new friends. You're going to take pictures with Mickey and Minnie. So that is really, really cool. And so I'm going to put a link down below. So the whole hope is that by December 31st, I will have at least 10 people who donate $10, a minimum of $10 by December 31st. I'm gonna stop it, and I'm gonna pick a winner randomly. I'm gonna put the names in there. So make sure that when you donate, you're gonna put on there marathon party. Just put on marathon party, and I will put your name into a hat. And then what I'll do is the one right afterward, I'm gonna announce the winner. So we will meet at Coronado Springs approximately 6 p.m. towards the front. We'll meet, we'll go in there together. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll have some food to eat. We'll meet Mickey and Minnie. But again, I would like to have at least 10 people register for $10 each. I don't think that's asking a lot. But as soon as we get to 10 people, I'll give an update. And so, but by December 31st, is when I want to pick the person, and the next video I'll announce it, and I'll reach out to, if I can reach out to you, I'll reach out to you. I'm so excited about that because this is the first time I'm doing this, and this is a good way to interact with you guys. But again, if you have any questions, please post them down below. Please let your friends know, especially now that we're doing this giveaway. Tell them to watch this channel. Tell them to give a simple donation. It's to a good cause, and you may get to take a picture with Mickey and Minnie and have some dinner, and so it's a really cool little deal. But without further ado, I wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. Next week I'm actually going to be at Disney World and at Universal Studios. So if something breaks, I'll probably do a small video. But without further ado, create a magical day, create a magical run, and guys, see you sooner than later.